welcome to Literature with Sasha. In today's video, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Anglo-Saxon period, exploring its rich history, culture, and literature. From the epic poem Beowulf to the legacy of Old English, we will uncover how this era shaped the England we knew today. So grab your tea, sit back, and let's explore the roots of English literature together. The Anglo-Saxon or Old English period. Introduction. The Anglo-Saxon period, also known as the Old English period, marked as a significant chapter in the history of England, spanning from roughly the 5th century to the Norman conquest in 1066. This era witnessed the foundation of the English language, the development of unique social structures, and the formation of distinct English identity. But what exactly happened during this period? Why is it so important to understand modern English culture, language, and history? Let's take a deeper dive into Anglo-Saxon period to uncover its rich legacy. Historical background. The Anglo-Saxon were a group of tribes that originated from what is now Germany, Denmark, and Netherlands. These tribes, comprising the Anglo-Saxons and Jutes, began migrating to England after the fall of the Roman empires. In the early 5th century, the Romans had controlled Britain for nearly 400 years. But once they left due to pressures in their own empire, the island was left vulnerable to attack from various groups, including the Picts and the Scots from the north and Saxon tribes from the continent. As the Roman influence faded, these Anglo-Saxon immigrants gradually established their dominance, eventually forming several kingdoms across England. The events of the Anglo-Saxon period. The Anglo-Saxon period is marked by several important events. Some of the most significant include the establishment of the kingdom in the 6th and 7th centuries, the Christianization of Anglo-Saxon England, which was led by figures like St. Augustine, the Viking invasions, and the establishment of the Danelaw, the region of the King Alfred the Great, who is celebrated for his defense against the Vikings and his role in promoting education and legal reforms. Old English, a glimpse into the language. Old English, the language spoken during the Anglo-Saxon period, was very different from modern English. It was Germanic language with influence from Norse, Latin, and Celtic tongue. Old English is often difficult for contemporary English speakers to understand due to its complex grammar and vocabulary, but it is the foundation upon which modern English is built. Old English had three main dialectics. This language was primarily spoken, but over time it was written down using a runic alphabet, later replaced by the Latin alphabets. The evolution of Old English. The Old English language began to change due to several factors, including contact with Norse speakers during the Viking invasions, the spread of Christianity, and the eventual Norman conquest. This evolution led to the development of Middle English and much later Modern English. Some key features of Old English include its case system. However, much of Old English lexicons still survive in modern English. Society and culture. Anglo-Saxon society was classified with a clear social structure based on land ownership, military service, and kingship ties. At the top were the kings and nobles who ruled over their respective territories. Below them were the freemen who could own land and were often warriors or farmers. At the bottom were the slaves who had few rights and worked the land for their masters. Religion and beliefs. Before the arrival of the Christianity, the Anglo-Saxon followed a polytheistic religion with gods such as Odin, Thor, and Tyr. These gods were associated with various aspects of nature, war, and fate. Rituals and sacrifices were a part of their religion's practice. The introduction of the Christianity by champions like St. Augustine of Canterbury in the late 6th century brought again significant religious transformation. Art and architecture in Anglo-Saxon England. Anglo-Saxon art was characterized by intricate metalwork, illuminated manuscripts, and stone carving. Churches and monasteries were important centers of learning where monks copied Christian texts and created beautifully decorated books. In terms of architecture, the Anglo-Saxons are known for their timber-formed buildings, with large halls where kings and warriors would gather. The most Anglo-Saxon literature. Key works of Anglo-Saxon literature. The Anglo-Saxon produced a wealth of literary works, many of which have survived to these days. These works were written in Old English and were largely concerned with heroic deeds, religious themes, and the lives of saints. Some of the most famous works include Beowulf, the epic poem about the hero Beowulf and his battle against the monster. The Anglo-Saxon Chronicles, a collection of annals documenting the history of England from the earliest times. One of the earliest record pieces of all English poetry is Carimonheim, the importance of Beowulf. It phrases the most famous literary works of the Anglo-Saxon period is a heroic epic that showcases themes of courage, fate, and the struggle between good and evil. The poem has been passed down through generations and remains an essential part of English literary heritage. Other notable texts from the period, in addition to the Beowulf, the Anglo-Saxon produced a wide range of religious texts, legal documents, and historical accounts. The most notable examples include the writing of Venerable Bede, a scholar and monk who wrote Church History of English People, which is a crucial source of information about early Anglo-Saxon England, Anglo-Saxon law and governance, the role of kings and Britain. The Anglo-Saxon kings ruled through a system known as their Witan, a council made up of nobles and church leaders who advised the kings. While the kings held significant power, his authority was often checked by the Witan, which played a crucial role in matters such as lawmaking and the selection of kings. The Anglo-Saxon legal system. The Anglo-Saxon legal system was based on a combination of written laws and customary practices. Kings issued law known as doms, which were intended to maintain order and justice. These laws focused on issues such as property, marriage, and personal injury. The system was deeply rooted in the concept of the things, groups of 10 men who were responsible for each other's behavior. The Viking invention and the end of Anglo-Saxon period. The Viking impact on Anglo-Saxon England. In the 8th and 9th century, Viking raid began to threaten Anglo-Saxon England. The Vikings, who were seagoing Norsemen, established settlement across eastern and northern England known as Danelaw. The Anglo-Saxons struggled to maintain control, but notable kings like Alfred the Great led successful defense against the Vikings. The Battle of Hastings and the Norman Conquest. The end of Anglo-Saxon period comes with the Norman conquest of 1066. King Harlan II, the last Anglo-Saxon king of England, was defeated by William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, at the Battle of Hastings. This event marked the beginning of Norman rule in England and the end of the Anglo-Saxon era. Conclusion. The Anglo-Saxon period is a foundational chapter in English history, laying the groundwork for language, culture, and legal systems we know today. From the establishment of kingdom to the evolution of Old English, the Anglo-Saxon contributed immensely to the development of modern England. Their legacy lives on in literature they left behind, the laws they enacted, and the traditions they established. That's it for today's video on Anglo-Saxon period. I hope you found this glimpse into early English history and literature as fascinating as I did. Don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon for more literary adventures here on Literature with Sasha. Drop a comment below on what period or topics you would like me to explore next. Until next time, keep reading, keep